What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Ben Thomas Show. Thanks for coming back. Guys, I finally got my InArt Paul Atreides here in the collection room. And I gotta be honest, while I think this figure is pretty amazing, I've had some difficulties with it, especially in some of the QC and some really confusing choices by InArt here, if I'm being honest. Is this a 10 out of 10 figure, like some folks are saying? Well, stick around for my thoughts on this unboxing and review, but if you like the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show, and let's get into it.
I give you Ben Thomas Showtime. Here we go.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. So I gotta say, there's a lot that I'm gonna say that I like about this figure today, but there's definitely a few things that really frustrated me throughout this unboxing, and I'll share those with you guys as I go along. I really do like that InArt still gives us the black foam. I think that that feels premium, but I will say that over and over again, I have complained about all the plastic wrapping on absolutely freaking everything in the box. It feels excessive, and it makes the unboxing experience painfully long at times and frustrating. You just end up with so much extra plastic, and I don't think everything in here needs this level of protection, especially when it's in the black foam already. You can't see anything. It takes away from me for the experience of that wow factor when you open up the box. Now, I do like the new packaging, this new plastic case container for the head sculpt. It looks like it's held way better in there, and I'll be honest, it was a lot easier to open than my Joker that I got from InArt. The Paul Atreides figure head looks phenomenal. It looks exactly like Timothée Chalamet, in my opinion. The body is definitely more heavy than I was expecting, if I'm being honest, and I can tell that the articulation here is going to be a little bit suspect, but at the end of the day, he feels premium in hand. Now, this of course is that notorious nose piece that has been falling off on people, so I'm going to leave the plastic on there until I absolutely have to. I love the weathering though on the boots. I love that they've even given you the mud detail on the traction there. I think that looks really freaking good. I am noticing that one knee pad though is really crooked, and I thought maybe it was just a Velcro issue, so I did try to straighten that out. To no avail, not possible. And also, my figure body, the legs don't line up. I've done everything I can to try and realign the hips within the figure body, and you can tell here it's a noticeable difference in height. So it's making the figure standing really difficult, especially with the magnetic base that it comes with, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. Now, this also really confused me. In the instruction manual, there's nothing to say how you actually get the head sculpt in to this extremely tight hole, and my figure neck peg there was actually turned the wrong direction. I had to turn it physically around inside the body before I could peg anything in. Now, I actually used this head sculpt in order to push into the hole, because at first I thought you had to actually take the outfit off, and I undid straps and everything, which was a pain, before I realized, nope, you literally just have to kind of squeeze it in there. The hood does go up on the figure head though in this position, which I do think looks pretty good, if I'm being honest. I really like the snug grip of it, and for posability, I think it looks good. you can definitely see Timothée Chalamet's eyes under that mask, and I think that looks fantastic. And of course, if you want to pose him up as though he's getting ready to ride that sandworm, I mean, this looks really cool in my opinion. I even put the cloak on him here for these images so you can see the wiring within it there. I think that all looks pretty great as well. And for my issue with hoods a lot of the time from Hot Toys, the InArt hood I think fits relatively nicely there, so no complaints. Now there's a ton of hands, about 15 different hands that you get with this figure, and the gloved hands for me look fantastic. It literally looks like the leather is degrading, but it's just painted plastic. I think that is a really nice detail. These are the hands that actually hold those, hooks for the sandworm in there. These were a bit of a pain. The silver piece did pop off mine when I was putting it into the handpiece itself, but they do click in again, which is nice. I took this photo so you guys could also see the angle at which those hooks go. The human hands, while you only get the 2 sculpts here, I think are also done pretty well. You see the cuticles on the fingers, you see a little bit of redness at the knuckle joints. I think that looks pretty good. So again, no complaints even with the hand or the painting here in any way, shape, or form. I think this looks really nice. Now the gun here is pretty cool. It's got an actual working spring there. It pops itself open, and it does fit into this one particular right hand with the finger pointed out. Every other hand I tried to squeeze it into, it just would not go. So that was a bit of a pain because you're really reduced to one hand only. I will say a pair of tweezers for this figure is really helpful, especially if any of your straps come loose, or if you want to get this freaking nose vent into his nostrils, use tweezers. It was the easiest way for sure in order to get it in there. And even still, I'm not 100% confident I've pushed it in deep enough, but I'm just gonna leave it here. I don't think I'll use this very often. This mask, I hate the fact that this isn't more of a stretchy band, because as you can see, no elasticity means I'm gonna have to really squeeze this around the face and risk damaging paint, and I'll be honest, no chance am I gonna use that if I could possibly scratch or scuff that beautiful face paint on Paul Atreides. There's no chance. So unfortunately, I'm happy the piece comes with it, but it stays in the box. This backpack, I didn't actually take any photos with it on, but honorable mention here, also a really cool accessory piece. I love that it's Velcro. I love the kind of wrapped around string at the top bit there. And this thing opens up to unveil, honestly, quite a few more accessories. I was shocked. I didn't realize it did this until I was literally just posing it up for the figure here and playing with it here in the light box. So pretty cool. Some of the things definitely do come out. Some of them I'm just going to honestly leave in here for the most part. But I think all of these accessories in this are absolutely a win. And I like storage for accessories that aren't just in the box in the closet. That piece is actually kind of sharp, if I'm being totally honest. And then of course, as I said, you can just close it up entirely and put it back in to the box. So I'm really happy with all of the accessories so far. The hands, even the figure base, I do think it's cool. It definitely screams Dune for me, but I wish it was like a sand base of some sort, if I'm being honest. I do love the fact though that you can unlock this compartment at the bottom of the base. Just with your fingernail, pop it out there, and you can move the magnet position underneath. So if you want the more wide stance with the figure, you can absolutely achieve that. But because this figure does come with the thumper for the sandworm, I would have loved to see the ability to put this in sand instead on a base, make it look like the scene from the film, where this doesn't slot in anywhere, so it's just kind of a nice to have, but kind of useless at the same time. The blade is really nice, and I think with the figure does look fantastic. Of course, you gotta get that iconic pose with it kind of up against his head, as well up against his chest. And again, I think in terms of likeness especially, it really does come to life. This figure does have a rolling eye system, but I'll be honest, for the sake of this review, I was a little bit too nervous to pop the hairpiece out at the back and shift the eyes too much. So for this video, I've kept the eyes in the prone position, but I do like the fact that it does come with rolling eyes. One complaint that I'll have here, honestly, is that I do wish there was another more expressive head sculpt, because this guy doesn't look that great in battle, and when you do pose him up with the blade up above his head, like that iconic rallying cry that he, shouts out to everybody, all the Fremen, he just looks bored. And so that's a bit of a criticism for sure. I do like the holographic card that comes with it. I think that still is a nice little touch. But overall, I would say there are a few complaints that I have. I feel legitimately upset that my legs aren't at the same level with the figure. I think that is a huge QC miss. And again, I've really futzed it to try and make sure that it isn't just a user error, and it really truly doesn't appear to be. So that was a frustrating QC challenge. I really dislike the fact that the instruction manual, while it's a beautiful manual, doesn't really give any instruction on how to get the head into the body. And when you've got a figure that has this amazing of a hairstyle, the last thing you want to be doing is gripping the heck out of that bad boy and trying to jam it into the slot. Like, it just doesn't work very well. And again, there's no instruction. So I wasn't even sure that I was doing it the right way. Thankfully, InArt has put up a video on how to do it since, so you can use that, but even still, I was not convinced that I was doing it the right way. I also don't love the fact that even while there's so many hands, I only have the one hand for, of course, that gun, which I think is a bit of a miss there. I really wish there had been an option for an additional head sculpt or some kind of faceplate swap out or something along those lines that would make Paul here just a little bit more expressive for both photos but also for the display. The figure body itself has a great look. It's amazing looking, but I had some QC challenges with an aligned knee pad there, which does suck a little bit. And posability wise, while you can get the arms up surprisingly high to pull off some of these iconic knife poses, he's going to be a bit of a museum-esque figure in the display. I don't think he's going to be that much more dynamic than some of these poses that I've shown you guys today. Now, the other piece there is that while the figure base is really cool, I don't like the fact that it doesn't hold on to the thumper. I think that's a strange piece to miss, because that thumper was so iconic in both Dune 1 and Dune 2. It would have also been really cool to get a swappable set of eyes so that if and when he's affected by the spice and his eyes turn that bright blue, I think that would have been nice, especially if InArt doesn't have an intention to ever give us a Dune 2 version. It would suck that you can't really kind of futz this into that display a little bit as a Dune 2 figure. But let's also give a huge honorable mention for how good these eyebrows look. Like, they are wild. They are just sculpted and painted. They are not real hair by any stretch, and they look fantastic. Hot Toys, take note. This is how you do eyebrows. Now, those are a laundry list of complaints that I have here. So for me, this figure is not a 10 out of 10 by any stretch, but the likeness for me is virtually a 9.5 or 10 out of 10. I really see it there, and you're really truly paying for the rooting job and that sculpting job, and those do not disappoint. The figure hair, even in my opinion, looks phenomenal. I have absolutely no complaints with the look of the figure. Just some of the functionality, some of the QC, and again, some of the interesting and slightly odd choices that InArt has made with this release, if I'm being honest. So while I love the figure, and I would absolutely recommend it if you are a Paul Atreides fan, for me, this gets an 8 out of 10 despite how amazing it looks. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. If you liked the video, hit the like button, smash the subscribe if you're new to the Ben Thomas Show, and I'll catch you guys on the next unboxing and review. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Wow, what a great audience. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
Where shall I go? What shall I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
It's gone. It's all gone.